Ever felt like you're running on a treadmill, putting in immense effort, but never quite reaching your destination? That invisible barrier, that constant self-doubt, the missed opportunities. What if I told you it wasn't a lack of talent or effort, but something far more insidious operating beneath the surface? A silent, unseen enemy within your own mind, subtly diverting your path to success, whispering doubts, and holding you captive in a cycle of unfulfilled potential. This isn't about external forces. It's about the internal landscape of your own psyche, a battleground where your greatest ambitions often meet their silent demise. Welcome to the world of the silent saboteurs, powerful, deeply ingrained mental triggers that, unbeknownst to you, actively work against your conscious desires. They are the unseen architects of procrastination, the subtle engineers of self-doubt, and the master puppeteers behind your deepest fears of failure or even success. These aren't abstract philosophical concepts. They are hardwired neural pathways, forged by experiences, beliefs, and societal conditioning, constantly scanning for perceived threats and, in doing so, often stifling your greatest ambitions and keeping you from truly thriving. In this journey, we're not just going to identify these saboteurs, we're going to dissect them, understand their origins, and most importantly, expose their tactics. Over the next few minutes, I promise to unveil 3 of the most potent and pervasive silent saboteurs that plague ambitious individuals, holding them back from their true greatness. Understanding these isn't merely an intellectual exercise. It's the critical first step toward dismantling their power and reclaiming the driver's seat of your own destiny. Your breakthrough moment, your chance to finally unlock your full potential, starts now. These aren't conscious choices you make. They are automatic responses, deeply embedded protective mechanisms that, ironically, end up causing more harm than good. Think of them as outdated software running in the background of your mind, consuming vital processing power and creating glitches in your pursuit of goals. They manifest as that nagging voice telling you, you're not ready, or the sudden urge to abandon a project right before its completion, or the inexplicable fear of stepping into the spotlight even when you know you deserve it. Their power lies in their invisibility, their ability to masquerade as logical reasoning or genuine caution, making them incredibly difficult to detect and overcome. So, if you've ever wondered why certain patterns repeat in your life, why success feels just out of reach, or why you often find yourself stuck in a loop of hesitation, then this is for you. Prepare to confront the hidden architects of your stagnation and understand how your own mind, in its misguided attempt to protect you, might be your greatest obstacle. We're about to pull back the curtain on these powerful, often misunderstood forces, offering you the clarity and tools to finally break free from their grip. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover could fundamentally transform your future and unleash the success you truly deserve. The silent saboteurs we discussed are often the reverberations of our own history, an echo from the past that continues to shape our present. This is the first, and perhaps most insidious, trigger: unresolved narratives and unhealed wounds. Imagine a child repeatedly told they aren't smart enough, or an adult who experienced devastating failure. These aren't just fading memories. They embed deep within our subconscious, creating a powerful blueprint for how we perceive ourselves. They whisper doubts when opportunities arise, or scream warnings when we dare to step outside what feels familiar, even if familiar means stagnation. This echo can be subtle or a deafening roar, dictating choices we believe are rational, but are pre-programmed responses. Psychologically, this phenomenon is deeply rooted in how our brains are wired for survival. When we encounter painful or threatening experiences, our minds create intricate defense mechanisms. These extend to emotional vulnerabilities or perceived inadequacies. The brain constructs neural pathways designed to protect us from repeating those perceived threats, associating certain actions or risks with potential pain. Over time, these protective patterns solidify into deeply ingrained beliefs, our comfort zones, which, paradoxically, often keep us far from our true potential. We develop an internal guardian whose primary directive is to maintain the status quo, even if it's limiting or unfulfilling. The manifestations of this echo are widespread and often devastating. It appears as chronic self-sabotage, where success feels within reach, only for us to inexplicably pull back. It fuels limiting beliefs, insidious thoughts like, I'm not capable, I don't deserve this, or it's too risky to try. This isn't merely a lack of confidence. It's a deep-seated conviction, forged in past experiences, that actively prevents growth. We develop a profound aversion to risk, not because it's objectively high, but because it triggers an ancient warning system. We might avoid public speaking due to childhood humiliation, or shy away from promotion, fearing scrutiny because a past failure taught us visibility equals vulnerability. Consider Alara, a brilliant architect whose designs consistently win accolades. Her unparalleled eye for detail and innovative spirit should have propelled her into a senior partnership years ago. Yet, whenever a leadership position opens, Alara finds herself overwhelmed by sudden, inexplicable anxiety. She meticulously analyzes every potential pitfall, concocting elaborate scenarios of failure, until she convinces herself she's not ready, or that someone else is more qualified. Her colleagues see her potential, but Alara remains trapped in self-imposed stagnation, forever the talented second in command, never the leader she is destined to be. Her career trajectory remains mysteriously flat. This isn't a conscious choice for Alara. It's the silent saboteur at work, an echo from a distant past. It programmed her to believe visibility brings danger, that success invites catastrophic downfall. The specific event is less important than its lasting psychological imprint, a powerful, unseen force dictating her present. She yearns for advancement, understands her capabilities, but emotionally, she's tethered to a past narrative of caution and retreat. The question isn't Alara's skills, it's how she can untangle herself from the invisible threads of history. How does one break free from an echo that has become integral to their identity? The answer lies not in ignoring the past, but in understanding its grip and consciously rewriting the script. This first trigger, a silent echo from your past, orchestrates symphonies of self-sabotage in unexpected corners of your life. Consider relationships. Have you repeatedly found yourself drawn to unavailable partners, or inexplicably pushed meaningful connections away? This isn't a conscious choice, but rather the invisible chains of past disappointment, childhood abandonment, or deep-seated fear of intimacy dictating your actions. These are potent manifestations of that initial wound, constantly seeking to protect you from perceived pain, even if it means sabotaging your deepest desires for connection and belonging. The professional arena is another fertile ground where this silent saboteur thrives. Imagine a promotion, a challenging project, or that entrepreneurial dream. Suddenly, self-doubt washes over you. You find reasons to procrastinate, to believe you're not qualified, or to avoid the spotlight. This isn't laziness. It's often the residue of a past failure, a critical remark, or an early experience of not feeling good enough that now unconsciously dictates your capacity for risk and ambition. It's the phantom pain of a past setback, making you flinch from future possibilities, anchoring you in a perceived safe zone that stifles true potential. Financially, the patterns are equally pervasive and often heartbreaking. Perhaps you consistently struggle to save despite good income, or make impulsive spending decisions undermining long-term goals. Maybe you shy away from investments, even after research, because a past market downturn or family hardship instilled a deep-seated fear of loss. These aren't just poor habits, they are direct consequences of the first trigger, deeply held beliefs about scarcity, unworthiness, or the inherent danger of wealth, all stemming from formative experiences. It's the invisible hand guiding your wallet, perpetuating cycles that keep you tethered to a financial reality far below your true capabilities. So, how do you begin to identify these subtle, invisible signs? Look for the recurring patterns, the moments of inexplicable resistance, or the constant feeling of hitting an invisible wall just as you approach a breakthrough. It's that familiar tightness in your chest when a new opportunity arises, the sudden urge to deflect praise, or the uncanny ability to create chaos just when things are going too smoothly. These aren't random. They are the distress signals of your subconscious, desperately trying to replay old scripts to protect you from perceived dangers that no longer exist. The key is to observe without judgment, to notice the why behind the what. Understanding these reactions are often echoes from a distant past. The profound truth: And indeed, your first step towards liberation lies in this very recognition. Merely seeing these currents, acknowledging the existence of these invisible chains, begins to loosen their grip. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The monsters don't disappear instantly, but you can finally see them for what they are: shadows, not substance. This awareness, this conscious identification of the first trigger's subtle influence, is not just insight. It is the genesis of change. It's the moment you reclaim agency over your subconscious programming. But knowing is only the beginning. The real work, the transformation of disarming these deep-seated patterns, awaits in the strategies we will soon explore. As we begin to untangle the invisible threads of our past, another equally compelling force often emerges: the overwhelming human need for absolute control and unshakable certainty. It's a primal urge, born from our deep desire for safety and predictability in a chaotic world. We yearn to map every step, foresee every outcome, and eliminate every variable that might disrupt our carefully constructed reality. This craving feels like a shield against the unknown, a guarantee of navigating life without missteps. But what if this very shield, designed to protect us, is actually binding us, preventing us from truly living? Psychologically, this relentless pursuit of certainty stems from a fundamental discomfort with ambiguity. Our brains are wired to identify patterns, create narratives, and make sense of the world. Faced with uncertainty, our amygdala, the brain's fear center, can go into overdrive, triggering anxiety. To quell this unease, we construct elaborate mental frameworks, detailed plans, and rigid expectations. We believe that if we control enough variables, predict enough outcomes, we can finally feel safe. This isn't merely about planning. It's a deep-seated conviction that true security lies in the absence of surprise, in complete mastery of our environment and future. Yet, this mirage of control often stifles our potential. The moment we demand absolute certainty before action, we erect an invisible barrier to innovation, growth, and genuine connection. How many brilliant ideas are stillborn because the entrepreneur can't guarantee every market aspect? How many profound relationships falter because one person can't control another's feelings? This quest for impossible predictability paralyzes us, trapping us in a cycle of overthinking and inaction. We become so fixated on avoiding failure that we inadvertently prevent ourselves from even attempting success, from embracing life's beautiful messiness. The consequences extend far beyond missed opportunities. Living under the tyranny of absolute control breeds constant frustration and disappointment. When reality inevitably deviates from our meticulously crafted plans, as it always will, we interpret it not as a natural part of existence, but as personal failure. This can lead to chronic stress, burnout, and a pervasive sense of inadequacy. We become rigid, resistant to change, and unable to adapt, precisely because our entire security is predicated on things remaining exactly as envisioned. Clinging so tightly to what should be blinds us to the immense possibilities of what could be. So, we stand at a crossroads, where the comforting illusion of control transforms into an inescapable prison. The very thing we grasp for safety becomes the chain that binds us, preventing bold leaps, authentic experiences, and true resilience. The paradox is profound. In our desperate attempt to avoid failure through certainty, we often engineer our own stagnation, our quiet surrender to a life unlived. The mystery deepens. How can we break free from this relentless need to dictate every outcome and embrace the power of relinquishing the illusion of absolute control? The answer might surprise you, revealing a path to freedom where we least expect it. We've all been there, standing at the precipice of a decision, frozen not by fear of failure itself, but by the terrifying absence of a guaranteed outcome. It's the entrepreneur with a brilliant idea, meticulously planning every single detail, yet never launching because one variable remains uncertain. It's the artist, perfecting their craft in solitude, refusing to share their work until it's flawless, only to find their moment has passed. This isn't caution. It's the insidious grip of the second trigger, the overwhelming demand for absolute control, morphing a healthy desire for preparation into an inescapable cage of inaction. It's the mirage of certainty, promising safety, but delivering only stagnation. This relentless pursuit of a foolproof plan blinds us to the very nature of progress. Life, by its design, is a dynamic tapestry woven with threads of the known and the unknown. When we insist on knowing every twist and turn before taking a single step, we forfeit the invaluable lessons learned through iteration, through minor course corrections, through the sheer act of engaging with reality. The market shifts, relationships evolve, personal goals transform. Those shackled by the need for absolute certainty find themselves consistently outmaneuvered, unable to pivot, unable to adapt, always waiting for a perfect storm that never truly arrives, because perfection is a static ideal in a fluid world. But how do we break free from this self-imposed paralysis? One powerful framework is the concept of minimum viable action. Instead of seeking the ultimate, comprehensive solution, ask yourself, what is the smallest, safest step I can take right now to move forward, even with incomplete information? This isn't about recklessness. It's about intelligent experimentation. It's about gathering real-world data, not theoretical projections. Launch a beta version. Have that difficult conversation. Apply for that slightly out-of-reach job. Each small action, each tiny leap into the unknown, provides feedback, builds momentum, and chips away at the illusion that you need a crystal ball to begin. Another approach involves scenario planning for uncertainty. Instead of trying to predict the future, consider a range of possible futures. What's the best-case scenario? The worst case? The most likely? By mentally preparing for these different outcomes, we desensitize ourselves to the shock of the unexpected. We build mental resilience, not by eliminating risk, but by acknowledging its presence and developing contingency thinking. This practice doesn't give you control over external events, but grants you immense control over your response to them, transforming paralyzing fear into proactive readiness. It's about building mental agility, not rigid foresight. Embracing uncertainty isn't about blindly jumping into the void. It's about understanding that growth resides precisely in that liminal space between what we know and what we are yet to discover. It's about cultivating a mindset where ambiguity is a fertile ground for innovation, not a threat to be avoided at all costs. By taking these measured steps, by challenging our ingrained need for perfect foresight, we begin to dismantle the trap of certainty, allowing us to unlock potential that has long been dormant. But this is just the beginning of our journey. The next step is to truly understand the deeper psychological anchors that hold the second trigger in place, and how to systematically disarm them, one by one. We've explored the mirage of absolute control and the paralyzing trap of certainty. But what if these weren't separate obstacles? What if, beneath our daily struggles, these two powerful psychological triggers were not only interconnected but actively conspiring against us, forming an unholy alliance designed to keep us tethered to the familiar, even when it holds us back? This isn't just about two distinct mental models. It's a symbiotic relationship, a dangerous dance where one feeds the other, creating a feedback loop that strengthens its grip. It's time to expose this intricate web. Consider this. Our insatiable need for certainty, for predictable outcomes, directly fuels our illusion of control. We desperately seek to control variables, to meticulously plan every step, precisely because we crave certainty that our efforts will yield desired results. Conversely, believing we can control everything reinforces the conviction that certainty is attainable, that if we plan enough, analyze enough, we will eliminate all risk. This creates a relentless cycle. The more we chase control, the more we demand certainty, and the more we demand certainty, the more frantically we grasp for control. It's a psychological double bind, a self-imposed prison built from desires for safety. This unholy alliance is far more insidious than the sum of its parts. It doesn't just hinder, it actively sabotages our capacity for resilience, innovation, and genuine growth. When these two triggers work in tandem, they forge an impenetrable barrier against change, against the unknown, against anything threatening our perceived control and certainty. We become rigid, resistant to new ideas, and terrified of stepping outside comfort zones, even when logic demands a different approach. This isn't just about missing opportunities. It's actively rejecting them, choosing stagnation over the vibrant, unpredictable dance of true potential. But here's the unsettling truth. This alliance, potent as it is merely a symptom of something deeper, even more fundamental to the human experience. It's a powerful force, yes, but it doesn't operate in a vacuum. There's a third, even more pervasive trigger lurking in the shadows, one that orchestrates this unholy alliance and amplifies its effects, making us more vulnerable. Understanding this deeper mechanism is not just an intellectual exercise, it's an urgent necessity. What are your thoughts on this interconnectedness? Have you felt trapped? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your insights help us all grow. This isn't a game, it's a battle for your mental freedom. Recognizing the profound impact of this conspiratorial duo is the first step towards dismantling its power. But to truly break free, to transcend these limitations and reclaim your agency, we must confront the mastermind behind it all. The revelation of this third trigger will not only illuminate the root cause of these patterns, but will also provide the ultimate key to unlocking a level of personal mastery you might never have imagined possible. Prepare yourself, because what comes next will fundamentally shift your understanding of why we do what we do, and how we can finally break free. The first two triggers we explored, the need for certainty and the inherent human desire for control, often intertwine, creating a formidable barrier to growth and genuine self-discovery. But there is a third, perhaps even more insidious force at play, one that silently orchestrates many of our choices, dictates our self-worth, and fundamentally shapes the illusion of who we are. It is the master manipulator, a deeply embedded psychological mechanism that compels us into an incessant, often unconscious, search for external validation. This isn't just about wanting to be liked, it's about a profile. Psychology. From our earliest moments, we learn to gauge our value through the eyes of our caregivers, teachers, and peers. A smile, a word of praise, a nod of approval. These become the building blocks of our self-concept. As we mature, this primal wiring often persists, morphing into a relentless pursuit of likes, comments, promotions, social status, or even just a quiet acceptance from those around us. Our identity, our very sense of being good enough, becomes inextricably linked to how others perceive us, creating a fragile foundation built on shifting sands. And it is precisely this fragility that makes us so profoundly vulnerable. Marketers expertly craft campaigns that promise belonging and admiration if we just buy the right product. Social media platforms are engineered to exploit our craving for digital approval, turning likes and shares into a dopamine hit that reinforces the cycle. In our relationships and careers, we often find ourselves contorting our true selves, making decisions that are not aligned with our values or desires, simply to fit in, to avoid conflict, or to secure that elusive pat on the back. We wear masks, adopt personas, and pursue paths that feel foreign, all in service of an external gaze. This pursuit becomes a self-perpetuating, destructive loop. The more we seek validation outside ourselves, the less we trust our internal compass. Our true voice gets drowned out by the clamor of external expectations. Every decision, every action, every word becomes filtered through the lens of what will others think. This constant external referencing strips us of our autonomy, turning us into puppets dancing to the tune of collective opinion. The momentary high of approval quickly fades, leaving an empty void that demands yet another fix, deepening our dependence and further eroding our true sense of self. The profound tragedy of this incessant quest for external validation is that it actively destroys the very thing we are often seeking: genuine self-confidence. True confidence emerges from an internal wellspring, a deep knowing of one's worth independent of external accolades or criticisms. When we outsource our self-esteem to the opinions of others, we hand over our power, becoming slaves to their whims and judgments. This illusion of validation, while offering fleeting comfort, ultimately prevents us from building an authentic, resilient sense of self, leaving us perpetually chasing a shadow rather than embracing the substance of who we truly are. And here we arrive at the precipice of understanding, where external validation truly reveals its devastating grip. To live constantly seeking approval is to exist in a perpetual performance, a relentless audition for acceptance that drains your essence, the energy expended, the mental real estate occupied by calibrating words and actions to fit others' expectations, leads to unsustainable burnout. This quiet erosion leaves you hollowed out, exhausted, and profoundly unfulfilled. The pursuit of external praise becomes an endless treadmill, leaving you breathless, wondering if you'll ever be enough. The most tragic casualty in this relentless quest for validation is the authentic self. When your identity is forged in others' opinions, you gradually lose touch with who you truly are, what you genuinely desire, and what values resonate. You become a chameleon, adapting your colors to blend into every social landscape, sacrificing your unique hues for fitting in. This isn't self-preservation, it's self-erasure. Your opinions become echoes, passions muted, and dreams deferred, all because the fear of disapproval looms larger than the courage to be truly you. This disconnect fosters deep inauthenticity. Consider the myriad ways this insidious trigger dictates our choices. Perhaps you've stayed in a soul-crushing job, not for fulfillment, but for family or peer respect, or molded relationships to appease a partner, suppressing needs to maintain affection, fearing true expression would lead to rejection. Even in personal style or hobbies, external judgment can push you towards acceptable choices rather than genuine expression. These aren't isolated incidents. They are symptomatic of a life lived on others' terms, constantly awaiting an external jury's verdict. The psychological toll is immense and often goes unacknowledged. This constant striving for external validation fuels anxiety, depression, and a pervasive sense of inadequacy. You might achieve great things, but the joy is fleeting, quickly replaced by the need for the next affirmation. You become an imposter in your own life, perpetually fearing exposure, convinced that if others truly saw you, they would withdraw approval. This internal narrative is a prison built from others' expectations, where genuine self-worth is impossible. Your confidence becomes fragile, dependent on an unreliable external supply. But here is where the myth begins to unravel, where the chains of external validation can finally be broken. Understanding these devastating consequences isn't meant to disempower, but to illuminate the path to reclaiming your inherent worth. This journey is about shifting focus inward, cultivating an unshakable self-esteem resilient to the whims of the outside world. The promise of genuine liberation, of living a life truly aligned with your deepest values and aspirations, is not a distant fantasy. It is an achievable reality. And in segments to come, we will equip you with concrete, actionable strategies to dismantle the myth of validation and build an authentic, powerful self. We've uncovered the insidious nature of external validation, how it quietly erodes our authenticity and dictates our choices. But understanding the chains is only the first step. Now, it's time to forge the keys to liberation. Welcome to the Mental Freedom Project, a deliberate, actionable journey designed to systematically dismantle the very triggers that have held us captive. This isn't about quick fixes or superficial changes. It's about a profound recalibration of your inner compass, a commitment to reclaiming your sovereign self. It demands courage, consistency, and an unwavering belief in your inherent worth, independent of any external judgment or circumstance. Let's begin by systematically dismantling the need for external validation. The first practical step is to cultivate radical self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. Practice journaling to identify your core values, those non-negotiables that define you, not what others expect. When faced with a decision, ask, does this align with my values? Does this serve my authentic self? This internal dialogue is a powerful shield against the whispers of societal approval. Engage in daily affirmations focused on self-worth, not achievement. Understand that your intrinsic value is non-negotiable and requires no external proof. Next, we turn to the specters of fear and scarcity. To combat fear, embrace mindful exposure. Gradually confront situations that trigger anxiety, starting small, observing your reactions without judgment. Use breath work to anchor yourself in the present moment, disrupting the fear spiral. For scarcity, practice daily gratitude. Keep a journal of everything you possess, big or small, fostering an abundance mindset. Challenge the narrative that there isn't enough time, enough resources, enough love. Actively seek out evidence of abundance in your life and in the world around you. Recognize that true wealth lies in perspective, not possessions. These aren't just theoretical concepts. They are daily mental exercises. When you feel the pull of comparison, consciously shift your focus to your unique journey and progress. When self-doubt creeps in, challenge the thought, is this absolutely true, or is it a conditioned response? Develop a response pause, a brief moment between stimulus and reaction, to choose conscious action over automatic reaction. This pause creates the space for intentional thought, allowing you to align your actions with your newly defined internal values. It's about building new neural pathways, rewiring your brain away from old, detrimental patterns. The path to mental freedom is not a destination, but a continuous journey of self-discovery and conscious choice. It requires unwavering self-awareness, an honest assessment of your triggers and reactions, and consistent, deliberate effort. Each small step, each conscious decision to align with your authentic self, chips away at the foundations of these manipulative forces. This project is your declaration of independence, a testament to your innate power to shape your reality. The transformation is profound, leading to an unshakable sense of self and an unparalleled inner peace. But what does this truly liberated life look like? What are the ultimate rewards of this journey? We're about to discover. This journey, dear listener, has been more than a mere exploration of mental triggers. It has been a profound reawakening, a reclamation of the sovereign power that resides within you. We've systematically dismantled the insidious myths of external validation, dissected the paralysis of fear, and confronted the shadows of self-doubt. You now stand at the precipice of a new existence, armed with the strategies and insights to not just manage your mind, but to master it. This isn't about quick fixes or fleeting motivation. It's about forging an unbreakable mental fortress, a sanctuary of resilience from which your most ambitious dreams can launch, unimpeded and unstoppable. The tools are no longer abstract theories. They are now tangible instruments in your hands, ready to sculpt the reality you truly deserve. Embracing holistic mental mastery means understanding that your mind is a living, evolving ecosystem. It's not enough to merely remove the weeds of limiting beliefs. You must actively cultivate the fertile ground for growth, innovation, and unwavering self-belief. This involves a continuous practice of self-awareness, a diligent monitoring of your internal dialogue, and a proactive choice to feed your consciousness with empowering narratives. Advanced insights reveal that true mastery isn't a destination, but an ongoing process of refinement, where every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen your resolve, every setback a lesson in adaptability. You are becoming the architect of your inner world, meticulously designing the conditions for your ultimate success and profound well-being. The ultimate power, then, lies in this absolute commitment to taking total control. It's the radical acceptance that your thoughts are not simply random occurrences, but potent creators of your experience. Every decision, every reaction, every emotion originates from the landscape of your mind. To master this landscape is to author your destiny with unparalleled precision and intention. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but understanding their messages. It's not about avoiding challenges, but transforming them into catalysts for growth. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the captain, charting a course towards boundless achievement, fueled by an inner strength that is entirely self-generated and eternally renewable. Imagine a life where clarity replaces confusion, where confidence eclipses apprehension, and where purpose illuminates every path. This is the promise of a mastered mind, a future where your potential is not just realized, but continually expanded. It's a state of being where external circumstances lose their power to dictate your inner peace, where obstacles are merely stepping stones, and where your aspirations are met with an unwavering belief in your capacity to achieve them. This isn't an idealistic fantasy. It is the inevitable outcome of consistent, conscious effort to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your highest vision. Your unstoppable future is not out there. It is being forged right now, within the depths of your own magnificent mind. This journey of self-discovery and mental empowerment is only just beginning. As you integrate these principles into your daily life, you'll unlock even deeper layers of understanding and capability. But there's so much more to explore. So many advanced techniques and profound insights waiting to be uncovered, which will further accelerate your path to limitless success. If you're ready to continue this transformative quest, to delve into the next phase of mastering your mind and truly unlocking your unstoppable future, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. We'll be diving into even more powerful strategies in our upcoming series, guiding you step by step towards the extraordinary life you were always meant to live. Don't miss it.